in this recording, I'm going to go through the assignment, the autobiography that you will be doing with Storify. So to start, what I'm going to do is switch to my web browser, and we're going to look at, this is storify.com that you'll go to, and you can do a free sign up. So you just sign up and then you log in, and then you can start building your own Storify. So what my expectation is that you will do this on your own. If you have questions about it, you can email me or call me, but I would like you to spend some time and explore this and get to know Storify as well as you can, and just try to do this without my support as you explore this site on the web. What I'm going to go through here are how you earn your points with this assignment. And so you can see on the assignment checklist, which you will have a copy of, that you need 2 or more meaningful references to reading and writing as a child, 2 or more meaningful references to real people that have influenced your reading and writing, either in a positive or a negative way, 4 or more meaningful references to books that have influenced you in both reading and writing, and 2 or more meaningful references to your reading or writing habits today. So just to stop myself going through this list is to begin to think about not only your reading habits, but also your writing habits, and who has influenced you and what has influenced you in both of those areas. And then what I would also like to see are strong references to critical thinking about your reading and writing. So as you analyze yourself or the texts that you read and write, I'm going to show you my example, and I'm going to try to pick out these different pieces. So the 5 or more pictures, that should be an easy one. You can use pictures of texts that you read. You can use pictures of yourself reading, pictures of your own writing samples. Those kinds of things would all be relevant there. 2 or more relevant social media links that are not simply a picture, but sending the reader, which would be me, to some place on social media where there's a discussion that you are a part of or that you have read. So there should be a total of 15 or more entries. An entry is considered a piece of text, a picture, or a link to social media. And so what we're going to do now is, if I click on this, or I just go up here to my, I've already loaded it, but you could just copy and paste that. You can also look at my literacy autobiography. So I'm not going to count the number of entries here. You could do that if you wanted to. But here I give a negative experience. When I returned to New York from having spent 8 months in Arizona as a first grader, my teacher was very rude to me, and she gave me F's on papers that would be similar to this. So here what I've done is I've used an example of an assignment that might be given to a first grader today to go back and think about how my teacher treated me in first grade. And yet I did learn to read, and I mention here my Aunt Dot because she gave me the book Heidi when I was in second grade, and I was so proud of this book and proud of the fact that I could read it, and I read this book over and over and over. So here, if we go back to our checklist, we can see that what I've done here is I've made a meaningful reference to real people who influenced my reading and writing. So the first was the classroom teacher that I had in first grade, and she influenced me in a negative behavior, but it didn't turn out to be negative in my reading life. And then my aunt, who influenced me in a positive way, and that was a positive influence on me. So what I found was this tweet that someone had posted, and I'm not on Twitter, so I just did a search for a tweet, and this person, Pamela, has said, the first book I bought in a bookshop was Heidi Grows Up. Can still remember the excitement of choosing the book for myself. So this is somebody that I don't know, but also was affected by this book of Heidi, and so much that was the first book she bought. So here would be an example of a connection to social media. And then I also talk about The Swiss Family Robinson, which was a book that I read over and over and over as a middle grade student, and I still have my copy of that book. And again, I found a tweet. This person, Chloe, says, the treehouse from the Swiss Family Robinson is the best house in books. And that was how I felt myself. So then I start talking about writing, and that I did not feel extremely comfortable in writing. And here's a connection that I made to which you could follow this link and think about writing anxiety, which was something that I probably had to a small extent because I wasn't very comfortable with it. And I talk about the stories, the books that I read in high school, and here's just a picture that I found on the web that I wanted to add to that. And then my reading experience in the Peace Corps, where I read. And at that time, I also had an opportunity to write lots of letters. So I bring in a little bit of my writing experience with that. So you can see what I've done is I've kind of interspersed pictures with text, and then I explain a little bit about the pictures, and I talk about my life as I go through different important periods of my life, my early childhood, intermediate grades, high school, the Peace Corps, and now several years later I am into grandmotherhood, and am showing a picture here of a book that I share with my grandson. Again, another link to some critical reading, and thinking about one of the things that I read a lot right now is the Atlantic Monthly, and this article really touched me as far as how there is a confidence gap between men and women. So here's some books that I'm reading these days. Of course, this was a few years ago, and a link to the blog that I write about what I'm reading now. So let's go back here. So I had meaningful references to my reading and writing habits today. 2 or more strong references to critical thinking. So that would be the articles that I cite in different places that I've been reading, and talking about how those articles affect my own thoughts about myself as a reader or writer. I obviously have 5 or more pictures and some social media links, which I used Twitter. But you could also find something. You may even do like a screenshot of a Facebook post that you or a friend has made, or even some texting that you do with another person. So you'll complete this, and then what you'll do is you'll just send me the link, just as I have included my link here, and then I'll use this checklist to do the grading. Let me know if you have any questions. I have complete confidence that you can figure out how to use Storify without a lot of trouble. Okay, have fun.